Hello and welcome to episode number 615 of Smart Podcast Trashy Books. I'm Sarah Wendell. Amanda is with me, and we're going back to May 1994, this time to look at the ads and features of the Romantic Times magazine. It's a time, y'all. I have some questions, and we're going to answer them. Are Eric Braeden and Victor Newman the same guy? Is Kathryn Falk writing celebrity gossip and outing people? Are there Lorena Bobbit jokes and glamour shots all over the place? Oh, these questions will all be answered. And we had a great time looking at the reviews. The ads and features are even better, so do not miss the visual aids. There'll be a link in the show notes and on smartbitchestrashybooks.com at the top of the page, so you can listen and follow along. I want to say hello and thank you to our Patreon community for making this show and every show possible and making every transcript possible. Hey, Garlic Knitter, if you join the Patreon, you are supporting the work that I do here. Thank you for that. There is a Discord. There are bonus episodes. You're going to get to vote on which RT we recap next. It's a really fun community and we would love to have you. Have a look at patreon.com/smartbitches to learn more. Support for this episode comes from Caraway. We love our Caraway cookware. We decided it was way past time to replace our old pots and pans, and we have the entire cookware set in navy. They are gorgeous, but they are extremely useful, and they come with a lot of pieces. One cookware set includes a fry pan, a saute pan, a saucepan, and a Dutch oven with lids and storage. I love that part so much, I'm not sure I can fully describe it. All of the cookware sets come with easy access storage solutions. No stacking of your pots and pans is required. No chips, no scratches. They have little magnetic slots and they each have their own little house. It's amazing. You can store them vertically or horizontally. Every pot has its own space. Caraway has a ceramic coating that is non-toxic, so the pans only need a tiny bit of oil or butter to create an excellent nonstick surface. I love using them for caramelizing onions, which I do a lot, and the color development is even and very efficient. And even maintaining a low simmer is no problem. The quality is really impressive. Over 25,000 people have raved about their Caraway kitchen, and you can try it for yourself. And as a reminder, the iconic cookware set comes with a saute pan, a fry pan, a Dutch oven, and a saucepan, plus lids for all of them, a canvas lid holder, and magnetic pan rack for storage. It is the ultimate kitchen setup, and it will save you $150 versus buying the items individually. Plus, if you visit carawayhome.com/Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, you can take an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so please visit carawayhome.com/Sarah and use code Sarah at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. All right, are you ready to go back in time? It's quite a trip. We're going all the way back to 1994. And like I said, don't miss the visual aids. Fabio wants to croon to you. You think I'm joking, but I'm absolutely not joking about that. I would never joke about that. On with the podcast. I had to be really judicious when it came to looking at the ads and features because there's so much to talk about.
There's so many, and a lot of the features are just like a weird author spotlight and not like on a topic. Because, you know, in the later issues, it's like, oh, this author's coming to talk about her book, but it's also tied into some sort of publishing thing or trend thing or whatever.
Right, like Brenda Jackson was taking a cruise and had a hot car. Valerie Bowman was on Say Yes to the Dress. Like there's other elements to the, and I've said this many times when talking about podcast pitching. Hey, I wrote a book is like a 10-minute conversation. These little profiles are like that. There's so many of them and they're all like, hello, I'm so-and-so. And I have a book, but I'm just going to talk. How much were those? How much did they pay for those? All right. Shall we start with the cover?
Oh my God, this cover.
It is such a work of art. I had so much fun putting this on social media and having people go, oh my God.
It's so good. And
so good.
The reason why I picked this was because of the cover. You gave me two options.
Yes, I did.
Usually you do like an earlier one and a later one.
Yes.
And once you see this man and his curly hair and his mustache.
You mean John Oates from Hall & Oates?
John Oates from Hall & Oates and this like rich purple border. How can you pick anything else?
It is so opulent. It is everything. And it's both styles, right? Because you have Heaven by Bobby Smith featuring a shirtless John Oates with a gun. And then on the right, you have a photograph of a guy who kind of looks like that guy from the soap opera who's still on the soap opera. I think, you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
You're going to look it up because I couldn't find this. You know who I'm talking about. He kind of looks like that guy from the soap opera who we're going to name in a minute because Amanda's like, I know
soap
who it is.
Soap opera man.
Soap opera dude. But he's got like a mustache and his hair is blown back and he's wearing a sleeveless denim shirt that is open over his low slung jeans and a gigantic belt buckle with a longhorn on it. And he's leading a horse and looking off to the side, looking very manly and muscular. And that guy is on the cover of Carol Fitch's A Bid for Love.
I think I'm trying to find him. I think I found him in a banner image, but it doesn't tell me who he is. I think
Eric Braeden, The Young and the Restless. He looks like a young Eric Braeden. That's who he looks like.
That's who you're thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, I'm going to send you this. It's this older guy.
Oh, that's Victor Newman, right? That's Eric Braeden. That's the same guy. That's Eric Braeden. That's Victor Newman. We're thinking of the same dude. Yeah, that's him.
Okay,
this guy looks like a young that guy. Thank you very much for going on this journey with us, everyone. I know listening to podcasts, podcasters Google things is just a delight. But yeah, he looks like that soap opera guy. And we were clearly thinking of the same soap opera guy. Oh my God. So here are some things I learned about this cover from Steve Amadown, who's going to be a guest on a future episode. When I posted this on Blue Sky, he told me that these were from the Zebra line for romances with 40 plus leads called To Love Again. And he says that the covers that he has seen for this line had so many mustaches. So clearly the marker for a mature man on the cover to signal the elderliness of over 40 is a mustache. And I only hope that the next episode of Golden Bachelor features a hero with a big friggin' mustache, like a big old Wilford Brimley walrus looking porn stash. That's what I want.
Oils or condition.
Oh yeah, he uses beard balm. He uses beard balm. Think of the hair care that the John Oates guy has. Like, what does his bureau look like? Like the shelf in his bathroom between the curly, shiny, perfectly coiffed hair and the big old bushy Wilford Brimley porn stash and his supple skin. This guy has a beauty regimen. It takes him like 2 hours in the morning.
Did you look at the description for Heaven?
No, I looked at the description for Bid for Love. And I'm going to tell you.
We'll trade description.
We'll trade. Okay. So Bid for Love. Yuppie love. Yuppies. Oh my God. Yuppie love doesn't have anything on this exceptionally well-written romance that not only steams up the glasses with its passionate love scenes, but warms the heart with
I hate that.
It's so annoying when your glasses fog, but warms the heart with the depth of love, caring, and commitment the characters show for each other. Yuppie love. This is a shirtless man leading a horse. Yuppie love. Okay, so tell me about Heaven by Bobby Smith.
Also, I want to note that you can see it on the Heaven cover, but he's got stacked belt buckles because one's holding his pants up and one's holding his gun up.
Oh, for sure.
Which makes me laugh.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. I kind of want to read this one. Heaven by Bobby Smith. Entombed centuries ago, shrouded in legend and haunted by a curse, it is the most precious jewel of the Nile. And Alexandra Parker, daughter of a famed archaeologist, has come to Egypt to find it. As have two dangerously seductive men. Wyn Bradford, a virile Englishman passing himself off as a priest, and Matt McKittrick, a rugged American adventurer. Both arouse desire, neither can be trusted. Driven by revenge and a secret she can never reveal, Alexandra embarks on an adventure that sweeps her into a passionate liaison and a rendezvous with destiny. She seeks a crown, but will find a far more priceless treasure, one man's irresistible love.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. You gotta read that. And you gotta get the original cover.
Oh yeah, I have to buy the original. It has a 4.2 star on...
Well, it got re-released with a Joe Goodman looking cover.
But it's interesting because it makes it feel like a Western and then you see the pyramids in the background. Yeah. You're like, what?
Surprise! Why is this guy running around without a shirt on He's going to get a sunburn.
He's in the desert. He's
going to burst into flames.
This has to be the American.
Oh, has to be.
Out of the two, it has to be the American. He has
that
a
is
gun.
not a priest. Mr. Oates is not a priest here. Not with that
this
porn stash.
Sounds bonkers.
Yeah. I could like hang this on my wall and people would be like, what is this? And I'd be like, just strap in. I'm going to tell you all about it.
I would love this cover so much. Like,
yeah.
And to be honest, we talked about this in a previous episode of like growing up and reading romance. I was pretty like anti body hair. I'm like, ooh, facial hair, long hair.
Yeah. Smooth like
hair.
A baby dolphin.
I want to slip right off. But, and I'm not someone who also is like, ooh, I love that cover model. And I like follow sort of the covers that they're on. I feel like I have never been more attracted to a cover model in my entire life than I have to this smoldering, lusciously haired man on this cover. It has been a sexual reawakening of surprising proportions.
So you got
you
got the hots for John Oates here.
I've got hot oats.
Please tell me you're going to buy the original cover and read it and display this book prominently in your home.
This is the most serious I've been about acquiring.
So what you're saying is the hot oats are compelling you.
I'm being compelled by the hot oats 100%.
Oh my God. I cannot wait for the follow-up when you tell me about this absolutely bonkers book. Wow. Well, we're going to find out more about the model on the cover in this magazine, which is just such a delight. But let's move on to the inside cover, page 2 of the PDF, Chanting the Storm. He's got a staff that is attracting lightning. He looks like a mage in Dragon Age. He's got his shirt, his cloak is open. He's got the fantasy belt, which is apparently discs of gold and a big buckle. She's swooning and like running her hand down his chest. He's got a big old mullet. This, by the way, is romantasy. Retcon, but romantasy, 100%.
As someone who owned a belt like that, they're a bitch to get through those belt buckles. I remember having one like in middle school.
Oh my God.
And they're just like discs. It was so awful trying to get that thing into a pair of jeans.
Then on page 3, I promise folks, I'm not going through, like, I'm not going to talk about every page. I could talk about every page. Like, there is something to say about every page in this magazine because it is so interesting. Like, I could talk about this one issue for like hours and hours and hours. But remember, if you sign up for the Patreon, you get to see the whole thing yourself. On page 3, there's a free hardcover collector's edition of the 10th anniversary of Harlequin Temptation. So they did a free collector's edition, sound familiar, with Rita Clay Estrada, the Ivory Key, Rita Clay Estrada being one of the co-founders of RWA and the original namesake for the Rita, Glenda Sanders, Daddy Darling, and Gina Wilkins' Stroke of Genius. Now, I went looking to see if there were pictures of this book, like what did the hardcover look like? I can't find any pictures of it, just of the title page, but it's available online for $8 if you wanted a hardcover special edition.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. It says, I love in the description on Biblio, it says red silk bookmark, no writing, giftable. So in case you were wondering what you were getting for your birthday, it's giftable. And then on page 4, we have the letter from Kathryn Falk, which is really, really wild. I won't read the whole thing, but there is a lot happening here. And this issue is all about Mr. Romance. So our escape to romance weekend in Manhattan, held at the Roosevelt Hotel March 5th and 6th, was the perfect break after weeks of snowstorm. In addition to fabulous writers' workshops and seminars, the first New York Mr. Romance cover model pageant had 2 great winners, John DeSalvo, who wore tight black leather studded buccaneer pants and a romantic white pirate shirt in a costume competition, and Patrick Hazelwood, a law student who called himself the Fabio with a deep tan and short hair. Patrick Hazelwood, for the record, is a black man. So he didn't call himself the Black Fabio. He's just Fabio with a deep tan.
I also feel like, a drinking game of like you have to drink every time John DeSalvo appears or is mentioned.
I love him. Like, I interviewed him for my book, and he was so chill and had such a great sense of humor about his work as a cover model. That guy did so many friggin' covers, so many more than Fabio. So the judges of Mr. Romance included models Cindy Geyer and Joe Anselmo, illustrators Pino, Sharon Spiak, who was a guest on the show, Franco, and photographer Michelle Legru, along with Heather Graham, Elaine Barbieri, and Judy Zacharias, daughter of Walter Zacharias, the president of Zebra Books. Like, so they had a weekend at the Roosevelt Hotel. They had the Mr. New York Romance pageant, and they had writers' workshops. So it sounds like at this time, RT was doing conferences throughout the year and regional pageants. This was a regional pageant train. Holy cow. Then on page 5, we meet the winner of Mr. Illinois cover model pageant, who is a Frenchman his name is Guy Deboo, B-O-O. He is now, I found him on Instagram. You will be excited to know he is a health coach and a Juice Plus salesperson. And you can follow him.
I said Juice Plus sounds like an MLM.
Oh, absolutely it does. But Guy Deboo is very active on Instagram and has a lot of motivational things and Juice Plus. Regional conference. This is amazing to me.
So on the next page, there's like fan letters that people can send in. And there's one called Computer Age. It was written by Joyce Smith in Louisville, Kentucky. I look forward to the answers to Nancy Shaw's letter from RT issue 119 on cataloging home romance collections on computers.
Oh, wow.
I too wish that there were some good programs to help track some home book collection. He makes it seem possible for a 10-thumbed person to successfully navigate the hazards of a modem. So they just want more about like how this person catalogs their romance collections on their computers. And I thought that was very cute.
That's really adorable. One thing, and this is very prominent in another issue that I think we'll recap in the future. One thing I think that RT does not get enough credit for is the way in which it taught readers how to read digitally. There were so many articles and explainers of here's how you read an ebook. Here's how you download an ebook. You're going to need a PayPal account because that's how they all take payments. Here's how you read. And RT did so much work teaching people how to read digitally. And then those people taught other people how to read digitally. And RT had a big role, I think, in creating the ebook audience in romance and genre fiction because they were like very into teaching you how to do it. And here's Steven Zacharias talking about how to use a bulletin board system that you have to access through a modem.
And then on page 13, there's this column and Harlequin's Romance Report is out. Guess who are the top 10 most desirable dates for 1994? So they polled a bunch of lifestyle editors from newspapers across North America, and those editors voted the top 10 men and women that they would most like to spend a romantic Valentine's Day with, and these are celebrities. So for women, number 1 was Cindy Crawford, number 2 Meg Ryan, 3 Julia Roberts, 4 Michelle Pfeiffer, 5 Sharon Stone, 6 Candice Bergen, 7 Nicole Kidman, 8 Whitney Houston, 9 Janine Turner, and 10 Emma Thompson.
This was peak rom-com and Northern Exposure time, and yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then in parentheses, it says, like, rumor has it that 3 of these women above are married to gay husbands and vice versa.
Holy shit, what? Kathryn Falk! Kathryn wrote this. This is Biz Buzz by Kathryn Falk. She's just out here outing people. Holy balls.
But what does that mean, vice versa?
That they're gay too. They're bearding each other.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And then they picked the top 10 men. Number 1, Mel Gibson.
Oh, no. Ew, gross. No, thank you.
Number two, Kevin Costner.
Still no.
Number 3, John Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
4, Tom Cruise.
Nope.
5, David Letterman.
Still no.
6, Kenneth Branagh. 7, Dennis Quaid.
Still no.
8, Denzel Washington.
Would.
9, Alec Baldwin.
Oh, no.
I know. And 10, Andy Garcia.
All right. Andy Garcia. is kind of hot. I don't know if he's still alive.
Oh
yeah, he is. He is still alive. I was mixing him up with someone else who I know is I was mixing him up with someone else who is dead. Mel Gibson, huh? Adam and I have what we call the Mel Gibson line. So once you've crossed the Mel Gibson line, I can't enjoy any of those things anymore. Yeah. I can't watch Lethal Weapon. Not a chance. Like there is just, nope. I see Mel Gibson and my whole body is like, ooh, recoil, cringe, run away. Ah! Yeah.
A lot of celebrities who have not like aged well.
And I don't mean aged well in terms of appearance. I mean aged well in that a lot of them became sex pests.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Kathryn Falk wrote, and it was just, by the way, 3 of these women are married to gay husbands and vice versa. What? Oh my goodness. Ow. Okay. So moving to page 14, we meet the men on the cover of this issue. I could do 2 episodes just about this one article. So first, the gentleman who we have been calling Hot Steamy Oats is David Allen Johnson. You can buy on eBay 35 millimeter slides of this guy from 1996 and a wife beater tank top that says the leading men, new faces of 1997, Hollywood's hottest hunks. I mean,
oh boy,
this isn't even a good picture and they're selling the slide. Look at his eyes are closed. Can I give you a small spoiler? This is a small spoiler. Okay, small spoiler. Friday, December 8th, 2000, there's an article in the Austin Chronicle, new writers of purple prose looking for love in all the right places, where Romantic Times hosted the 18th annual Book Lovers Convention. And of course, they used all the standard language to talk about it.
Yeah.
He was the first Mr. Romance. Cover model David Allen Johnson was Romantic Times' first Mr. Romance in 1993. It's permissible to snicker or laugh here because no one will dispute the fluffy sound of the title, least of all Johnson. Neither will anyone deny that Johnson is just how the dream gunslinger hero or medieval rebel should look. Taller than average, impossibly beautiful face, well-muscled, but not too beefy, dark-haired, green-eyed, and an utterly disarming smile. I'm 36. I had to be more than just a waiter with a dream of getting on a soap opera. Back in 1983, I was a USDA inspector for the poultry division, and my friend urged me to enter Mr. Romance contest. I did, but I didn't tell any of my friends and family, and I won. And after that, I went to LA. I got an agent, started doing acting and modeling and commercial things, as well as still doing surveillance for the USDA. I love this man. I love him. Mr. Romance.
Don't quit your day job.
Grading eggs. That's amazing. But he was the first Mr. Romance. And I learned that there were 2 Mr. Romances crowned at this time, one for under 40 and one for over 40. So that's why there were 2 winners in New York, John DeSalvo and the other people. They had an under 40 and an over 40. Isn't that interesting?
Congratulations.
I know. One last thing I wish to tell you. On the next page, we meet James Fox, who's the guy who looks like Eric Braeden from the soap operas, who's walking around leading a horse with his shirt open. Zebra editor Anne Lafarge, editor of Carol Finch's book, is featured on the back cover in a romantic pose with James. How's that for an industry perk? Ew, no. Oh my God. You're just trying to do your job. You don't need to. The editor is on. I'm going to ask every editor that I meet now, hey, have you ever wanted to pose with the cover model on the front of the magazine? They're going to be like, no.
No.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
These 2 profiles of the cover winners, I could spend hours with them. They are just incredible. They're amazing. And by the way, this is absolutely the era of Glamour Shots, which we will get to. There's a lot of Glamour Shots pictures here.
So much.
Pages 19 through 28, we're starting with Bertrice Small. And the authors are introducing their books to you. And it's weird because it kind of reads like paid placement. But Bertrice Small tells you about Love, Remember Me, which is also the centerfold for the magazine, which sounds really weird for me to say, but it is the center spread. And then we have authors introducing their spring books to you. And like, I'd like to thank my readers, and here's what's next, and here's what I'm working on. And this character is so close to my heart. It's like direct sales pitches from the authors, right?
Yeah. So like some of the authors, and I didn't check to see if it was all of them, But some of the authors are talking about books that are reviewed in the magazine. And we've seen this in later issues too, of authors getting certain features or whatever, and they're also reviewed in that issue. And so I was wondering if like maybe RT is like, hey, you're gonna get a good review in the magazine. If you wanted to spend some extra money and do like a feature, like a paid feature, that might like boost awareness of your book in the magazine. So
on page 28, there's a full page ad for Topaz, the gem of historical romance, which is a line from Penguin. Alexis Harrington.
I remember this cover that you called it.
Alexis Harrington's Homeward Hearts. Melinda McRae's Prince of Thieves. That's the guy with the very shiny bum that we talked about in the last episode. And Wild Desire by Cassie Edwards. Would you look at the step back? Can you describe this? Like, I don't know if this defies description. It might.
This cover. This is how I like why I wish everything was in color, because these covers are something. So the step back is a white horse.
Oh yeah, deep water. Like past his withers.
Yeah, yeah. And a man, Topaz man. So he has long, like dark brown, black hair over one shoulder. He's almost naked, except for the little loincloth. Like it's a black string around his waist, and then, you know, a piece of like tan fabric covering his important parts. You barely notice it. Like it kind of blends into his body a little bit. So if you glance too quickly, it's like, oh, he's a Ken doll, but it's like a little teeny tiny loincloth. And he's reaching down and holding on to this red-haired woman who's like getting swept into the water. And she has on this pink off-the-shoulder dress with white trim. I have no clue how he is staying seated on the back of that horse. He looks like he's about to slip into the water.
He's got a magic ass, that guy.
Yeah, he's holding on with just his butt cheeks alone. And that loincloth is doing a lot of work. I cannot stress how tiny of a strip of fabric it is.
And the string. Like,
is there anything in back?
I mean, I am going to guess that his ass is like the suckers on an octopus's leg. So that's how he's stuck to the horse. Like, that's how he's fused to the horse through his butt suckers. I just said that.
You said butt suckers. Yep.
I said fused to the horse with a butt sucker. Good job.
As you go through the magazine, and it's not just on page 34 where I pointed it out, it's on several pages of publishers congratulating their authors, agents congratulating their authors for being nominated for a Romantic Times annual award. It's what it's called. But it reminds me a lot of the back of yearbooks when like parents would take out a page to like congratulate their graduating senior
with a baby picture. Yeah,
I know. So I just think I thought it was sweet and funny.
It is very sweet. And the one that you called out, on page 34 is actually from the Carolina Romance Writers congratulating their members on their awards. Like it's so cute. So page 46, there is a reader's corner where they talk about a book club. And this is the Literary Organization of Romance Enthusiasts, aka LORE, which met at the B. Dalton bookstore in their mall in Fort Collins, Colorado, the fourth Monday of the month. Here's my favorite thing. They profile all of the members and what books they like the most. Characters with dumb names irritate these readers. It detracts from the book's overall quality when the names are unbelievable. For example, heroes named Ziggy, Shaw's, Strong O'Kelly, and Thorn with an E just aren't okay with this group. I am so charmed by this whole page.
So as I was scrolling to that one, there are two things that I didn't make a note of that I do want to talk about.
Bring it on. Tell me all about it.
The ad on page 43, that is a startling cover for The Fourth of Forever by Mary McBride.
The Fourth of Forever also looks like the of Fourth Forever. It's terrible layout.
Yeah.
It looks like she's about to nurse.
Or like he's a giant. He looks massive.
He really does.
And
I'm pretty sure that cover won like a worst cover.
It had to have been. It's not good. And then the next page after, on 44, on the column on the left-hand side, it talks about reference books for romance novels.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at that.
And it like, you use it to reference like previous books and authors and titles.
Wow. And it's not even like historical research. It's authors listed alphabetically, titles, authors, and pseudonyms cross-referenced. 6,100 titles and groups, books by series, spin-off, and saga with related characters, and asterisk is included next to series that should be read in order. So you're just printing book lists as reference manuals. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to have like reference material. I
cannot find if The Fourth of Forever was ever named worst cover.
It's bad though. We'll name it worst cover.
We're gonna name it worst cover because it's a bad cover, and we'll show you. We'll put a picture of it. It's great. It's very very. It's slightly on the edge of a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Then on page 47 to 51, this is where I kind of got what this magazine was at this point, because there's the Reader's Corner where they showcase this book club in Colorado, and then there's letters from readers. And this is when I realized that this is a fandom magazine. This is like this particular style of RT is a fanzine, because there are people sending in sketches inspired by books. There are people sending in poetry. There's somebody who sent in a whole sketch and then did sketches on the envelope, and they reprinted the envelope showing her return address. Excellent. And all of these people are sending in art and poems about romance. Like there's a woman from Silver Spring. Hey, neighbor. I am an 80-year-old widow. Okay, probably not my neighbor, who loves to read historicals. I became addicted when my sister gave me sweet, savage love. They keep alive the memories of my own love with my husband of 42 years. They fill my life with the romance I no longer have. And that can be a very exciting thing. And then wrote a poem about romance. It's so cute. Handsome heroes, lovely maidens, in a world of love they dwell, flowing from the writer's pens. Oh, what stories they do tell. In all the world, in every age, our lovers fight through thick and thin. They cast their spell on every page, and in the end, they always win. And that was written by Rose Berlin of Silver Spring, Maryland. Cheers to you, Rose. That was adorable. But that was when I realized, this is a fan magazine. The authors are introducing their books and introducing themselves. People are sending in art, and they are creating in response to the books that they're reading. And this was the venue where that happened. So I kind of understand now even better how the magazine was operating in the romance world at the time. It wasn't just for booksellers and librarians. Like this was also very much a fanzine too, which I think is kind of cool.
On page 50, right after that, is a crossword puzzle.
Yes! Oh my God, it's so great. I should just isolate this page and put it up on the site, shouldn't I?
It was
you want to do this
cool.
puzzle?
They said there's like a little note that's like, in this month's puzzle, several of the questions refer to the Men Made in America series published by Harlequin and Silhouette. Those questions will be marked with an asterisk. So not all of them. I don't think I could do this puzzle because I was, 5, 6 years old?
It's all author names and book titles. Like 7 down. B.J. James wrote a step blank for Silhouette. So you have to know names, titles, and you have to know the names of authors. Abbreviation for Oregon. So that would be like OR. Uneasy Alliance by Jane Ann Krentz. Like that's just, here's a book title.
And I don't know if they did this for every issue or this was just like a special fun little thing that they would do every so often. But I was like, I love a cute little romance crossword.
It's so
every
cute.
issue. And then the next page on page 51, they have readers recommended reading list, and people would just send in their list of like keeper shelf books that they would want to share with other readers. So they had 4 people total, and they included their mailing addresses, which is why they did that, I don't know. But they share 4 lists from 4 different readers. Some of them are longer than others. Some only have like 3 titles, but it was cute to see who or like what authors made the list. Jude Devereux's Knight in Shining Armor is on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Judith McNaught, A Kingdom of Dreams is on there.
Beatrice Small, Skye O'Malley, Laverle Spencer, Janet Daly, Sandra Brown, Elizabeth Lowell.
Julie Garwood.
May she rest. I wonder if the addresses are so you could like write to these people and be like, I love that book too.
Maybe.
Because you're supposed to send your list to Romantic Times in Brooklyn, but then they're publishing your full address, which is kind of freaky. I agree. Wonder if it was sort of like a low-key pen pal thing. Like, oh my God, I loved A Knight in Shining Armor. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but I feel like even when they describe what it is, there's no mention of like, hey, we're going to include your address so other people can share their lists with you or anything like that.
Yeah,
they do cap it at, you can only have 25 titles on your list, which is wild. I can't imagine having 25 like keepers. But yeah, I thought that was cute of like people sharing their favorite books. I mean, the usual suspects are on there that I would expect, but
yeah.
I did.
Kathryn Falk was on Joan Rivers' new show, Can We Shop?
Can We Shop?
And then appeared with a list of romance tips, gave out recommended romance scenarios, moonlight breakfast, perfumed pillows, silky lingerie as ways to please a man. And then Joan asks, so what turns a man off? And Kathryn says, Lorena Bobbit jokes. Wow.
Well, continue because she tells the joke.
Can you give us an example, says Joan? Did you know that Lorena is looking for a new man, but he has to be unattached? So Lorena Bobbit became a punchline but because she cut the dick off her husband, John Wayne Bobbit, I believe because he had assaulted her, but it was reattached. John Wayne Bobbit later went on to star in porn
star.
Yeah. I don't know if he's
lemons out of lemonade or lemonade out of lemons.
Yep. Oh, but yeah, that was a big trial in 1989. That was a big story and a lot of jokes about something that's actually horribly not funny. But it's wild that Kathryn Falk is going on Joan Rivers' Can We Shop and talking about romance. Oh my God.
Speaking of like this time frame and like news stuff, I would always get Lorena Bobbit confused with, was it New Jersey or New York, where the mistress shot the wife?
That was Long Island. I
Long
beg
Island?
your pardon. That was Long Island.
New Jersey or New York. So
all right, but that was Long Island, and that was Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco.
I would get those two confused.
Lorena Bobbit and Joey Buttafuoco and John Wayne Bobbit. I mean, I can understand it was very salacious. But let's make punchlines and salacious humor out of some really fucked up situations. Anyway, I interrupted you because I forgot about Joan Rivers. Please go on.
So on page 57 on the left-hand side, there's like a TV guide, April Romantic Movies on AMC. So there's like Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is not romantic when you rewatch it and rethink about it. But they're all movies from like the 50s or earlier. So like
one is from 1937. Whew.
Yeah. And one that's crazy. And why aren't they like doing like classic rom-coms from the 80s and early 90s? That was like a good time period. But two, it reminded me that TV guides were a thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember like visiting my dad on the weekends and he would have the TV guide and we'd have to look at, like we'd be flipping the channels and it's like there's no guide to look at. So you're like, what the hell is playing on channel 12 right now? And then you'd
Yeah.
have to like go and consult the TV guide. It's like, oh, 6:30, channel 12. It's
Yep.
this. And I would do that and I would call, I don't want to say it was 411, but you'd call like the local operator to find out what the weather is for tomorrow. And they would tell you what the weather and like the temperature outside. And as a kid, like that was one of my favorite things to do was to call the operator and have them tell me what the weather was.
If I remember that. I used to recall and get the time too
Yeah.
to set my clocks. Look at the bottom left corner of this page.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Read that little box ad on the corner of PDF 56.
Oh, help launch romance classics and win a free t-shirt.
Listen to what they're asking you to do.
Right now to your local cable operator and ask him
Write
to
a letter. Write a letter to your cable operator.
launch romance classics in 1994. Send RT a copy of your letter to your cable company, and we will forward it to AMC. AMC will send you a romance classics t-shirt. Make romance sparkle at the cable companies. So you don't even have to send it because they just want a copy of the letter. They can't verify if you sent it or not.
Oh my gosh. So you're supposed to write a letter to your local cable company and ask them to launch romance classics.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about Glamour Shots, specifically page 66. Look at the author photo on this page. So this woman has short hair. It's been teased into a big bouffant. She's got big earrings on. She's wearing a strapless sort of gown that's all ruffles and puffs in the back and in the front. She's got a lot of makeup on and she's leaning forward. So you see like the full line of her shoulder. And I'm like, oh, that's a glamour shot. And then I noticed how many author photos in this issue are glamour shots. Did you notice that?
I feel like this was definitely of its time. One of the photos that I remember seeing in my own house is my mom's glamour shot. And she had like short hair, but it's like puffy on top or curly on top. And she's wearing like a leather jacket. Yep. And the back is like background is like a fuzzy navy blue or a purple. And I can't remember if she has like a hat on, but I remember she's holding like a bright red rose.
Yes, that and you then would pose with a flower. Glamour Shots was a particular thing. And I really wonder if for anyone who's listening who's not familiar with, Glamour Shots was like extremely late 80s, early 90s makeup, hair, and color. And like you would come in and they would tease your hair and do a full face of makeup, help you pick some props, and then you'd get to take basically glamorous shots. So sometimes they were very sexy. Sometimes they were very like corporate with big shoulder pads. But I really think this is one of the ways that authors could get a headshot that was easy and they knew where to go.
Yeah.
Because headshots are hard. Like it's a pain in the ass. I really think it's interesting how many author photos are glamour shots because clearly that was the best and easiest option for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So page 71, the centerfold, I will obviously share. It's color images for The Law and Miss Penny by Sharon Eel. And then a 2-page spread for Love, Remember Me by Bertrice Small. If you're wondering which book that is Nyssa, Blaise Wyndham's daughter, who goes to the court of some guy, probably Henry VIII still. Yes. And then the third ad is Janelle Taylor's Chase the Wind. And it looks like these are very expensive full page ads.
Yeah. You have the center of the magazine and they're full color.
Full color, heavier stock, not card stock, but heavier stock. Page 71 is conference promo, includes selling intensive writing workshops and all of these 2 days pre-con intensives, which they continued to do. Again, Glamour Shots in this page. They continued to do the pre-conference writing intensives. Like I remember those from RT, but it's wild to me that was still happening in 1994 because not only did you have a fanzine, but you had no, you can write these too, and writers will show you how.
Yeah. And the cost of this workshop, I think it was pretty good because it's 2 days.
Yep.
And it included breakfast and lunch both days.
At the convention hotel, right?
Yeah.
and it was $175.
Yeah. And they limited the class to 100 students, with the hope that like everyone can get like personalized attention by the authors. So
that seems like
it was a pretty good deal, but 100 people is also a lot of people.
It is a lot of people to try to get a personal attention. But on page 73, meet Fabio and Topaz Man in Nashville. So you have Fabio, who gets his name, and Steve Sandelis, who's Topaz Man. I think he's referred to more as Topaz Man than by his name in this whole issue. He's Topaz Dude.
Is it Topaz Man? Topaz Man because he was on a lot of Topaz covers?
Every Topaz cover had a little medallion at the top with a picture of him.
Okay.
Yeah. If you, Steve Amadown has written about Topaz Man, and that I think he was also a Playgirl model, but I'll drop a link. Poor Topaz Man. I'll drop a link too.
Mentions that they had their own fan clubs, and the president of those fan clubs.
They are promising lots of news and excitement, focusing on their respective romantic heroes. Do you think they had like a brawl?
No, like a West Side Story.
Okay, and now the final showdown: Topaz Man versus Fabio. Who will reign supreme? They just like tweak each other's nipples.
How do you become president of the fan clubs?
I think that's something you just sort of declare yourself. I'm the president of the fan
Okay.
It's a self-elected position. It's self-reporting.
Okay, Grandma, whatever you say.
I'm the president of Mr. Topaz Man's fan club. Then on page 74 through 77, we have coverage of the regional and national Mr. Romance pageant contestants. And some of these guys have eyebrows that are bigger than shag rugs. Oh, this is so gross. Nashville in springtime is the perfect place to let your dreams come true and let your fantasies run wild. For one glorious once in a lifetime enchanted evening, you can be anything or anyone you've ever dreamed of being. Would you care to become a medieval lady, a peasant girl, a fighting knight, an alien, a Native American, harem girl, queen, witch, Regency miss, Egyptian ruler, favorite character from your favorite fantasy novel? Just ran out, and it keeps going. But the Mr. Romance section is massive. Like this, I did not know this was a regional thing.
Also, what's John DeSalvo up to these days?
I don't know. No idea.
I'm trying to Google, and I can't find any trace of a contemporary presence.
I don't know what John DeSalvo's up to.
Yeah. What's he doing?
There were also hospitality suites for readers and booksellers.
I saw that. And that's where they also mention the price, I think, was on this page too.
Yeah, page 81. This is wild. Why don't you read the top box? Because it's wild.
This plan and register now. So they have different kind of plans and tracks depending on what you want to do. But the full convention, which includes Thursday evening welcome party, Friday, which has breakfast, seminars, lunch, the Mr. Romance cover model pageant, dinner, Saturday, more breakfast, seminars, lunch, and tete-a-tetes. Sunday, book fair, costume competition, evening in Camelot costume dinner and ball, and then Monday, more breakfast, seminars, lunches, awards banquet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days.
Thursday through Monday.
Yeah. Thursday through Monday. Not including the writing intensive. That's extra. It is $395.
Wow.
Which I think was the same price we were paying.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it was around It was around $400, $500 for and that was, gosh, by the time RT ended, it was nearly a week. I would fly in on some Sunday or Monday, and stuff would be happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was surprised that it was still pretty close in price, even, 20 years earlier.
The booksellers program was $150. The spouses plan to just go to the food stuff was $250. It's really interesting how much the conference has changed and not changed, especially in the price.
Yeah.
So I'm going to scroll down to page 100 because I think we need to check in with Diana Palmer.
We need to check in with Diana Palmer.
So Diana Palmer has taken out an ad, and it says the following: Dear readers, I'm sorry I won't be able to attend the RT Nashville convention. I will be studying feverishly for final exams, but I hope you all have a great time. I have been flooded with questions about quote unquote relatives in other states. Please note that while I have many, quote, adopted brothers and sisters among my wonderful readers all over the country, I know them only through the mail or over the telephone, and they are not actual relations. I only have one blood relative, a sister in Atlanta. Also, I have not designated anyone to represent me in any way at conventions, with the exception of my editors. God bless you all, and I hope Nashville is a great success. Love, Diana Palmer. So remember when I said you just declare yourself the president of somebody's fan club? Diana Palmer was having a bad time.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, she heard that, I guess she can't go, and then she was worried.
I'm representing Diana Palmer. And Diana Palmer's like, hold up. No, you're not.
I've never met you before in my life.
And you're not representing me at Nashville. Just, oh my gosh. And if you didn't really know what people looked like, and it's a big industry, you could just be like, well, I'm Diana Palmer. Maybe I'm Diana Palmer today.
And like, there was no social media, so it's not like.
And with everyone looking like Glamour Shots, no one looks like their normal selves.
Yeah.
Glamour Shots at this time is like filters on Snapchat today. Like I had Glamour Shots done. I did not look like that on the daily, but I looked good in those Glamour Shots. Glamour Shots then are what like filters are now on Instagram and Snapchat. And then on page 106 in the PDF, another cruise. Amanda, the universe has things to say about what our future should be. And apparently our future should involve cruising.
But like, I don't want to cruise with activities. That's the thing.
This ad is Voyage with C.G. Ware, celebrated historical novelist to the British Isles aboard the MS Holland America MS Stadendam, July 21st through August 2nd, 1994. And it's going to go to, it looks like Copenhagen and London and all of these places. And then she writes a little article about how the Adams World cruise specialists approached her about hosting a historical romance cruise, which is going to require her to do a few things, but mostly just be on this cruise.
And it
sounds amazing.
12 days. It's 12
days. Yep.
And the prices start at $3,210.
Which if you're thinking interior cabin, no windows, 12 days, I mean, I guess that's kind of a lot. Like I've seen cheaper.
Yeah, I feel like when I went on the only cruise I've been on, which was like a week, if that, maybe 5 days. Mm-hmm. And we had a balcony, so it was more expensive. I think it was like $5,000.
Yeah.
But we went on like Royal Caribbean, like a bigger, more commercial cruise line. Yeah.
Yeah, this cruise is going to go through the fjords to Oslo, then Loch Ness in Scotland, Orkney in the Hebrides, North Wales, Dublin, Waterford, Guernsey, puts in at Dover and on the River Thames on the 2nd. So it's going to go all the way around. That sounds great. And my part in all of this, Carol and Barbara explained, is to offer a minimum of 6 hours of enlightenment during the cruise, including lectures and tea time chats on the art of novel writing, subjects pertaining to the real life characters in my books, as well as my new historical novel. So she takes this cruise, agrees to promote it, hosts some stuff, promotes her books. That sounds like a great deal. I hope C.G. Ware had a great time.
I wouldn't want to do that. I feel like as an attendee, like having 6 hours worth of opportunities to talk to an author that I enjoy, not my bag.
You don't want to go on a cruise with Kresley Cole? You're like, let's talk. You'd go on a cruise with Kresley Cole and you guys would hang out and drink and have a great time.
Maybe, but I don't like big crowds of eager fans.
No, I don't like crowds of people either.
That's the thing. Like, if we were just Thelma and Louise in it, sure. Party it up. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I've reached an age where I'd have to think of, like, would I go to, if RTE Book Lovers was still a thing, would I want to go? Like, but post-lockdowns, I feel like a lot of people's opinions on attending conventions and conferences and large-scale events has changed.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I'm one of those people especially, like, would I ever go like Book Expo America, RIP? Would I want to do that again?
I hated BEA. You can't pay me to go to the Javits at this point. I just won't do it. If Archie still existed in its original format, I would go for work reasons. It was great work-wise.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful, wonderful work thing, especially doing interviews live and having people like come to my room and do podcasts and things like that. That was great. I don't know. I think there's a lot of demand now for reader conferences. I mean, look how many people went to Readers Take Denver.
And that was a shit show.
It was a shit show. So on page 124, there is a husband's column, which I think is just bonkers, but there is a column by Larry Lind about how to support your romance writer wife at a conference. How can I have an agenda when it's my wife's convention? I thought I was there to lend support, but there's an agenda? Well, yes, it's more than just support and carrying luggage. Does she have an agenda? She will be 10 times more effective if she has a plan. Help her crystallize it. This is some mansplaining bullshit.
We've seen this before in other issues of like, there's always some kind of column boosting the husband of a romance author.
It's weird, right?
Or there's also some like man who's like has business acumen in publishing and can tell you what to do. There's always some sort of like man angle.
Yeah. And this man angle is really weird. Like the last paragraph is, hey guys, if you haven't signed up for the convention yet, it's not too late. Camelot is for us romantic stud muffins and our lovely brides. When you're not charming the socks off her, there'll be a number of activities for us weary helpers. Look for a men's activity person when you sign in. Be a wall-leaping hero and meet the writing world's family of writers at Camelot. What on earth?
Look for a men's activity person, as in, we're going to drop you off at the men's daycare.
Yeah, we're going to drop you off at the men's care section. You're going to have some video games and some snacks. And then on page 128, there are unique gift ideas, Romance Alive audio cassettes. They're abridged books. They're 90 minutes. Something Wonderful by Judith McNaught, $5.99 on cassette, abridged 90 minutes. Think about how long a historical romance is. All like, are they just leaving the sex? Those were some sexy. Virginia Henley's The Pirate and the Pagan. There's a lot of boning in there. But like, think about how long a historical romance is on an audiobook. And this is abridged down to 90 minutes.
I feel like that's
like
criminal.
7 hours.
Yeah.
And then
it's criminal.
There is a little bottom column. Fabio Fever, the biography, the music. Fabio After Dark, a selection of Fabio's favorite romantic tunes, make for a perfect romantic evening. Between songs, Fabio whispers, croons, lulls you into romantic oblivion. Don't miss his signature song, When Somebody Loves Somebody.
I mean, this man is terrible, right? But like, yeah, I admire the lean in aspect.
This is Fabio After Dark.
Oh boy.
Buongiorno.
Well, like,
I'm Fabio. And I'm very interested in what makes romance work.
I'm gonna mute this in like 5 seconds. I can't.
Oh
it's so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh, is my face red? My face feels hot.
But you also posted
then there's the video.
A clip of the Fabio Fitness, and it's not him teaching a gym class. It's not him teaching you aerobics. It's you watching him get gym lessons. There's a woman there showing him how to do certain gym moves, and you're just watching him do them.
Let Fabio show you how to develop a strong, fit body with his at-home exercise program developed by fitness expert Brenda Dygroff. It's so ridiculous. They're lifting weights. There's do you remember aerobics, step aerobics? They're all sitting on aerobic steps. And she's like, how you doing, Fabio? He's like, I'm fine. The weights that Fabio is using probably weigh less than my cat. Like he's not working out. He's just moving around.
And of course you have the stereotypical, very high cut
Oh, yeah.
leotard
Oh,
for
yeah.
ladies.
All right. And then there's Fabio, A Time for Romance, fantasy video. The first video novel ever created stars Fabio as the hero of a romance novelist's fantasies. He appears as a pirate, a Viking, and an Italian count. Now, I linked to I Am Cry Laughing, and I would love for you to please click that link because I paused it just as he titty fucks her with the sword. He just shoves the tip of the sword down in her.
He's like eating a tiny little chicken wing too.
He just puts the tip of the sword down her dress.
I'm very curious if this sold anything.
I don't know, but it's just amazing how much of it is on YouTube, and I am so grateful that it is.
Boy. It says 16,000 views and was uploaded 8 years ago.
I will link to all of this. I don't think anyone should worry. Maybe these should get their own post. Like, we found these. Here's some enjoyment. Please enjoy all of this. Fabio After Dark. Fabio whispers, croons, and listen, I'm not paying $9.95 plus shipping and handling for Fabio's mouth noises.
But also,
I refuse.
Passion Flicks who?
Passion Flicks who? So what did you think of this issue, the ads and features? This was a ride, right?
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the previous one, this is still one of my favorites. And I think, like, I wish this was in full color, like the entire thing. Because
it would be amazing.
There's something about, you know, like current covers now are very like pastel, very lighter, but covers are so saturated with color and they're so striking and like the colors are like rich and like
they're so rich. That's exactly the right
jewel
word.
Tones and like they're decadent covers of like juicy butts in satin pants. Like, you know, we saw that.
Juicy butts and satin pants. This episode is going to have so many good subtitles. Juicy butts and satin pants. It's true though. It's absolutely true.
That's my only negative is like I wish everything was in color. It would have been such a feast for the senses.
Especially when you go and look up the covers for some of these books because it's like, holy shit, how's his loincloth still on? It's being held up by dental floss.
Yeah. And while we were taping this, I did go and buy a copy of Heaven by Bobby Smith. So
yes, I cannot wait to hear everything about it. Yes. Amazing.
It has the original cover as a photo, so we'll see. If it's not, I'm gonna be pissed because that's what I want. But
I mean, that's the reason.
Yeah.
If you're gonna own a copy of this book, it has to be that copy. It's like owning the Christina Dodd with 3 hands. You don't want castles in the air with a castle. You want castles in the air with 3 hands.
I think the only other older romance that I've physically bought in like an actual copy because I love the cover so much is Kay Hooper's Summer of the Unicorn.
Oh, that is a great cover.
So I have an original of that one.
I mean, absolutely. You should take it to a print shop and have them do a high-res scan and make it into a poster.
That would be beautiful.
Well, thank you for doing this recap episode. I'm having such a good time with this one. I will be in touch about what to pick next because I haven't done a full inventory of all the RTs that I have. But hey, 1994 was a wonderful journey.
You could, if you feel like it, maybe let our Patreon vote.
Oh, that's a good idea. I can have the Patreon vote. Here are some options. I'll put the covers up. Pick which one we're doing. All right. I think that's a great idea. I think we should have the Patreon folks decide. Get ready, Patreon folks. You're going to pick our next episode. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you, as always, to Amanda for taking these time travel journeys with me. And thank you to Mari, the romance girl, for sending me this issue. It is so fragile. I have special boxes for them now. They have little houses. We're having a great time doing this series, and I hope you are enjoying it as well. If you are, and you leave a review, you are my favorite person. Thank you. As I mentioned, we will have a link in the show notes to the visual aids. There are YouTube links. You want Fabio to croon to you. Don't pretend like you don't. Have a look at smartbitchestrashybooks.com. Top of the page, you will find a link to the visual aids, and you can listen from the top of that page. There'll be a little player. You can listen to the episode and follow along. Look, Fabio wants to croon to you. And I think we should all just, take a moment to appreciate how absolutely bananas all of this is. It's so much fun. As always, I end with a terrible joke. This week is no exception. I love this joke so much. And if you know me, I'm sorry you're going to hear this from me several times. Pity my poor family. Did you know that the person who invented the Ferris wheel and the person who invented the merry-go-round never met? Yeah, it's true. They traveled in different circles. It's so bad. I love it. Oh, pity everyone who knows me. They're going to hear this joke. That's from Dad Says Jokes, and I am delighted. On behalf of everyone here, we wish you the very best of reading. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here next week. Smart Podcast Trashy Books is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. You can find outstanding shows to listen to at frolic.media/podcasts.